Hello everyone, welcome to the course of Core Java, and today in our lesson number 11 we are going to learn how we can make a basic calculator in Java. So the goal of today's lesson is just to sum up what we have learned from lesson number 1 to 10 and use that knowledge in a more practical example. We are not going for any fancy calculator at this stage. Basically we are going to make a calculator that you can you can run in the Eclipse console itself, but it will give you a good example of how coding will help you in your day-to-day life, like how it can solve your problems that you face. So just learning the concept and just knowing what if else is, that won't serve any purpose, right? Because coding is not like just a bookish study. After all, this is what you use every day, like your phone, your laptop, YouTube that you are watching this video in, everything is coding after all. So we need to start slowly at some stage. So that is basically the goal of today's lesson. So first, to summarize, till now we have learned how to install JDK and Eclipse, how we can write our first code in Java, we can run in Eclipse and also in our command prompt. Then we understood what are the data types, variables, string, arrays, and also we saw what are the operators that we can use in Java. And the most important part is we understood what are if else, switch, while, do loop, how you can use for loop for your coding. And then one of the important part of coding, how to take the input from the user. So today we will use all this to create a basic calculator. So the calculator will run in the console, as I said earlier, and it will support for basic function, right, like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Okay, so let's start with it. I already created a class, named it calculator. Okay, so as we said, this calculator will take input from the user. So at first let's declare a scanner class, new scanner. Okay, system.in. So there will be an error, then you just need to import it. Okay, so now once you have imported it, the error will be gone. See, now there is no error. Okay, so once we created our scanner class, which we will use to take the input from the user, then we're going to declare one string, which will basically be your option. Like this is the option that you will give to your user. Okay, so we do not need to assign it as of now. And after you declare the string, declare the option, then we'll just create one simple menu like this. Welcome to our calculator. Okay, just simply we'll use this. Then we'll tell the user how our calculator will work. Okay, okay, please select one option. Okay, we can give it inside this, inside a for loop, sorry, inside a while loop. So the goal of declaring one while loop is simply that the menu should keep repeating itself. Okay, basically we'll provide two options to the user, whether he wants to use the calculator or he wants to exit it. Okay, so that is the goal, that is the reason why we are using while loop, so that even if the user is using the calculator and at a time he feels like he want to exit, then this menu should be displayed again. So inside this we need to write, please select any option. Okay, now we are going to give them the option. One, calculator, then two will be exit. Okay, now after showing the menu to the user, we are going to take the input from the user. And as I told you earlier in our previous lesson, to take a string from the user, we just need to use next line method of scanner class. Okay, so what this will do is that it will take option from the user. Okay, so once the option is taken, we need to check the option, right, and map it to some case. So in that case we need to use switch. So when we use switch, as what did we provide the user options, that is 1 and 2. So there will be a case of 1, it will run the calculate method. Okay, it will show error, just hover over it and click on create method. So Eclipse will take care of this and create a sample method calculate. Okay, so as I told you, in case of switch, one case is satisfied, then it will keep on transferring the instruction to the next case. So to break it, we have to use this break keyword. Okay, so after this, case 2, sorry, case 2, for case 2 will print something like thank you for using our calculator. Okay, then it will be system.exit. Okay, so this will simply exit the program. Okay, now for default we'll print this, please select a valid option, then in 1 or 2. Okay, so this is the basic menu, right? So when we run this program, you will see something like please select any option. It will be welcome to our calculator, please select any option. So if I select let's say I select 2 for now, then it will display thank you for using our calculator and it will exit. Okay, so now if the user would have selected the case 1, means option 1, then the calculate method will run and our main calculation will happen here. Okay, so now comes the main part, we need to write the code for our calculator. So basically the idea of the calculator is not like we will give the user more option like you want to add, you want to subtract, you want to multiply or divide. No, we will not do that. Instead we will read each of the operator, and then we will program our code in such a way, we will code our program in such a way that it will handle it itself. User does not have to worry. For example, what I am saying is, let's say the user enters 1. Okay, then he clicks enter, then he clicks then he puts plus, for example, then he puts enter, then he puts like 2. Okay, so the next enter when he presses, then the sum will be shown to him like 3. Then he can continue, for example he can write minus, then enter, then 1, then again we will show the output as 2. Whenever he wants to finish his calculation, he just has to input equal to. Okay, he just has to input equal to, then his output will be displayed like 2. Okay, so this is how our calculator will work. So here also we need to take input from the user, so we need to create one scanner object. Okay, so this will be system.in. now we have already imported the scanner class, so this time there is no error. So as I explained you the concept before, we need to take the first number, then we need to take the operator, then second number. So in that case we will make it string. The reason I am making it string is that so that it will be easier for us to handle in future. Okay, string value, then there will be string operator, string second value. Okay, now to take the actual number and to do the actual calculation, then we need to convert it into numbers. Okay, so for number I'm going to use the double data type. There are two main reasons for using double data type. That is, first is that double will have a large size, so we do not have to worry about size. Second is it can take decimal numbers also, so that's why for calculator double is the better choice, right? Second num. Okay, so this is the variables that we will need in this case. Now what we'll do, we'll see whether first value is okay. So our first goal is to take the first value itself. Okay, first value equal to sc dot next. Now after taking the first value, we are going to convert this. Okay, to convert this string into a double value, we need to use this double class double dot value of. What this means is this value of method will take some value inside it as argument, and then it will convert it into a double. Okay, double data type. So here we will send first value. Got it? Okay. Okay, so another operator, sorry, another variable that I missed is that we need result also, right? We need result also. So up till now we declared the important variables that we need, then we took the first value from the user. Okay, now our calculator, as I said, it will keep on running till the user enters equal to. Okay, so here it will be a while loop. So inside the while loop, next thing that we will take from user is that the operator. Here also next line, then of course we need to take the second value. Okay, we took the second value. Now after this we have to write one if else. The reason we are using if else first and not switch case is that we need to verify whether this operator that they have inputted is correct or not. Okay, so we'll check for plus equals. So this is another method supported by the string class. Okay, this will check whether this value that we have put plus is equal to the value that is entered by the user, right? So here we'll do operator, then of course the second one will be minus, so we'll just copy it to save time. Okay, here there will be asterisk, and the last one will of course be divisible, right? The divide sign. Okay, so inside this we'll write our code, but before that let's write our else code. Else will be let's say your entered operator is not valid. Okay, and then as the user has entered some wrong value, we'll make it return. Okay, so the use of this return keyword is that here you see the return type is void. That means it will not return any data type, it will not return any value, but we can return the instruction set, right now it's running in this block, but we'll make it return. That means we'll return the flow back to the main method. That's why we are using this return keyword. So whenever the operator is returning something wrong, at that time the flow will be returned back to the main method. Okay, got it? Okay, so another thing, here we have converted the first value into first num, right? Similarly we need to do the same for this double dot value of, need to convert it second value. Okay, now we need to write our switch case which will handle our calculation. So here obviously it will take the operator, and based on the operator it will do our calculation. Okay, plus, so the calculation will be first result equals to first num plus second num, right? And then we'll make the first num equals to result. So why we are doing this? As I explained before, our calculator will keep on the flow. It will not stop. Like, what I mean is, when the user enters the second value and clicks enter, it will show the sum, and then he can enter another operator and another value, and it will do that calculation also. So it will carry on the value from the previous calculation. From this calculation it will carry on this value. Okay, so our program will run seamlessly. Okay, so after the case, obviously we need to put break. Now we can simply copy this part. We'll copy this. Okay, three times we need to copy. One for minus, one for multiplication, and one for division. Okay. Okay, just save it. Okay, so we have done our basic calculation now, right? But we need some more details, like we need to make the user understand about our program also. So what we need to do, we need to write some code here. System.out, please enter your value, your numbers, and the operation you want to do. Okay, in the bracket we will tell them what operations are supported: plus, minus, multiplication, and of course division, right? Okay, another thing we need to tell the user is that how to exit from this calculator, right? Press, okay, enter, okay, equal to get your final result and exit the calculator. Okay, calculator page, let's say, right? Okay, so we put this view to the user that he can press equal to and it will exit from this calculator page. But we did not handle any equal to case, right? Till now we have not handled any equal to case. So for that, of course, after the operator only we need to handle this, right? So here equal to dot equals, then here we'll check for the operator. If it's equal to, then we'll run this code. Your final result is, of course we'll put the result, right? Okay, here one error is there. Okay, it's telling us to initialize it, right? Because at this point, for example, he enters the first value, he enters the operator as equal to, then this part will be run, of course, right? So in that case, to avoid it, we need to initialize this result variable. So here also will return the flow. That means when he presses equal to, it will simply exit. The same is the case for this operator. Okay, for invalid operator. Okay, another thing, the result is initialized to the value of 0. So when the user enters the first value and enters equal to, he will get 0. So to make our calculator look sophisticated, let's say, to make it look good, we'll initialize this as well, because that will look good, right? Suppose he will enter some value like 10, he presses equal to, then of course 10 should be displayed to him, not like suddenly 0. So that's why we'll use this. Okay, I think our code is pretty much ready. Let's run and check it. Okay, let's run it. maximize it. So this is our calculator. Let's say I press 1. Okay, see, the instruction is shown to the user. Please enter your numbers and the operation you want to do. Okay, plus minus, those operators that are supported by our code, and also to press enter to get our final result. So let's say I put 10, enter, plus, enter, then 10 again. Okay, there is some error. We can debug the code, right? So actually there was no error. I simply forgot to show the value of the result. Like as our plan, it should show the value of the first two numbers, right? After performing the operation, it should show the value that we missed. That's why it was looking as empty. So simply for that reason, we just need to display the result. Okay, no need of this, just display the result. Okay, now if we run this, okay, let's go to our calculator. Let's press some value, 20 for example, plus 30. So now 50 is displayed, right? This is as we expected. So now we can simply continue this operation. We do not have to stop. Like we put minus, then we put 35. See, it will do the calculation. It will simply keep on proceeding. We do not need to stop in between. Let's say multiply it with 2. Okay, there looks like there is some error here. Let's check our code. Maybe we mistyped something. Yeah, see, for multiplication we used plus symbol, and for division we used plus again. So that's why it will show us some error. Let's pause it and then run it again. Okay, so this is our calculator. So let's say 20 plus 50. Okay, so here we made a mistake. Like our code is programmed in such a way that it will take one input at a time. So here we put plus 50, right? So it will throw some error, but that is also a good case. So that means we will enter this part of our code. This is actually already handled by us. Okay, your entered operator is not valid. So let's see if this error is thrown or not. 20, yeah, your entered operator is not valid. So this part of our code is also successful. Let's enter our calculator one more time and just check. Let's enter one value like 20, then let's say equal to, yeah, your result is 20. So the another case that we handle, that a single value is entered, at that time also we can easily handle this and display the result. So let's see one more example. Go to the calculator. 20, I'm typing 20 again and again. Okay, multiply 2. Okay, this is also working. Divided by, let's say 4. Okay, so when we click on equal to, will it exit the calculator? Yes, it's executing the calculator page and then showing us the main menu, and it is also displaying our total output. Final output is 10, and then it went back to our main menu. Then we can simply exit it by pressing 2. Okay, thank you for using our calculator. And see, the red button is disappeared now, is disabled now. That means our program also terminated successfully. It's not running in the background. Okay, so this is how you can write a simple calculator in Java. Write code for a simple calculator. Okay, hope you understood the logic behind this program, and if you have any doubt regarding how the calculator works and any line of the code that you are confused with, then feel free to comment down below. We will clear all your doubts. Thank you for attending our lesson number 7, and from our next lesson we are going to start the concept of object oriented programming. So make sure to set the alert for this and click on the notification bell. Thank you.